you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is this: never go in against
A tribble?
when death is on the line.
C.S. Lewis has an incredible argument for God called the argument from desire. Lewis says creatures are not born with desires unless satisfaction for those desires exists. A baby feels hunger, well, there is such thing as food. A duckling wants to swim, well, there is such thing as water. Men feel sexual desire, well, there is such thing as sex. If I find in myself a desire which no experience in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world. The innate and universal desire in human beings for something more that cannot be satisfied by earthly pleasures or achievements suggests that we were made for the place or state where that desire can be fulfilled.
This is an argument for God's existence that you don't often see getting tossed around in apologetic circles. I mean, not nearly as much as things like the cosmological argument, the teleological argument, the transcendental argument, or the argument from divine morality. I wonder why this argument from desire that C.S. Lewis is postulating doesn't get more action from people who are trying to push the existence of God.
Because it was a stupid idea.
Oh, that's right, because it's banana balls idiotic. For starters, the idea that there is a satisfaction to every desire and that state of affairs is some kind of a universal truism is nonsensical horseshit. The reality is that most of what we desire are things that we see or perceive that others are enjoying, and we want that same enjoyment ourselves. Or are things that we've experienced ourselves at one time or another and would like to experience again. We want to eat food? Well, yeah, it's because we've eaten before, and likely that specific food that we're desiring is one that we've eaten before and want to eat again because we very much enjoyed the experience. I mean, I don't think I've ever craved a food that I've never tasted before. A guy wants sex, you say? I mean, I don't know why they restricted it to a guy wanting sex and not saying that a person wants sex. Apparently, women don't actually desire copulation, I guess. But their casual misogyny is an entirely different subject that we're not going to get into today. But even if that person was a virgin, they are aware of the act of sex, and that it's a desirable, pleasurable experience in most cases, and so want to experience it themselves. So yeah, if you're going to trot out examples of actual physical objects or experiences that a person can desire as a result of personal experience or perception, then obviously there are real options in order to satisfy those desires. But we can also desire things that are entirely conceptual. Things that we just imagine that we have no basis to achieve in reality. We can desire being able to travel through time and go back to the past and experience historical events that happened long before we were born. Or perhaps just find out that our dad was a loser and come within a hair's breadth of banging our own moms.
Hey, don't worry.
And yet there is no such satisfaction that actually exists for that desire. Time travel is not a reality that we can experience. The same is true with any number of ideas that we've come up with that can only be even marginally satisfied through the work of fiction. Traveling faster than the speed of light, being the first to encounter an alien civilization, flying like Superman, getting struck by lightning and it turning us into a super-powered Adonis rather than cooking our insides. If I have a desire for a plate of spaghetti, I can go and get a plate of damn spaghetti. But if I have a desire to cut off and then instantly regrow my arm, I'm afraid that I'm shit out of luck in that regard. The reality is that there are a wide variety of desires that we can have that we have no way to satisfy in reality. So, what do we do when we develop those kinds of desires? Well, we engage in fiction. We storytell. We make shit up. Because our imagination is the only place where we can get any semblance of satisfaction for those desires. And this is something that C.S. Lewis should understand particularly well. Because when he wanted to walk through the back of his wardrobe and find a fantasy land of centaurs and talking lions, well, that desire couldn't be satisfied in reality. So what did he do? He made up a pleasant fiction in order to satisfy that desire in the only way that he could. So, when we come across a desire that cannot be achieved in reality, like eternal life, eternal bliss, an end to any suffering or pain, or reunion with those loved ones who have died, or becoming a higher being capable of understanding the mysteries of the universe, what have humans always done? We've done what we always do in such situations. We make up a pleasant fiction where all of those things are achievable. And we call that pleasant fiction religion.